Okay, welcome back here. So we're going to be talking about multi-echo, echo-to-echo thickness readings. Up until now, we've just been talking about measuring the first signal in the gate, and we've been using edge for the most part. Let's see, I've just recalled my straight beam thickness cal, and just to refresh our memories, I'm going to unfreeze here. There's the let's see, auto 80. Come on. Auto 80. 200. Auto 80. 300. Auto 80. 400. Auto 80. 500. Okay, so everything looks good. It's a 1-inch thick screen. And there's no coatings on anything. We want to use this echo-to-echo, multi-echo technique when we have coatings that are getting in the way. And let's see here, if I was to put this back on the 200 step and auto 80, I'm going to say here's the first major division, the second major division. That 200 step is right near the second major division. And then the second back reflection is right near the fourth major division. And then it gets a little bit harder to see the next one, but it's in there. Sometimes with these dual element probes, you might not get that many additional echoes after the first or second echo. But when we, I'm going to switch momentarily to a sketch. Let's say we had, we have our A-scan display here, and we have 3 echoes, our first back reflection, our second back reflection, and our third back reflection. If we have some coating on the surface, those 3 echoes, the thicker the coating is here at the beginning, they're going to move to the right. They're going to move together. The distance between them will stay the same because when the sound is bouncing inside the steel, from the first to the second to the third, it's only in steel. So the distance between them will stay consistent, and they'll move together. The thicker the coating is, the further they'll move to the right together, but they'll always stay together. So instead of just measuring to the first echo, as we have been, we could measure the distance between the first and the second. And no matter how thick the coating is, we should get a good reading. So that's the whole idea behind the multi-echo, the echo-to-echo technique. And let's go ahead and try and do that on our step wedge, and we'll use this piece of plastic as our coating. And generally what you want to do is, if you have an idea of how thick your part is going to be, go to the closest step on your step wedge and use the echo-to-echo technique on that, then go to your part. So I'm going to say that our material is going to be closer to 300 thousandths thick, for example. And so I'm going to reset the gates. I want 2 gates. I'm going to gate on the first echo and gate on the second echo. Gate 1 is activated, so I'm going to activate gate 2. The status is off, but if I press anywhere, that'll activate the second echo. And I don't want to use edge. I want to measure peak to peak. I think it'll generally be more accurate on echo to echo if you use peak. So let's see, on gate 1, my gate setup, I'm going to say I want to use peak, and I'll stay with negative peaks. And gate 2 now is also negative. And let's go back and let's change our reading box to read gate 2 minus gate 1. And that's what we want for that. Measure setup, reading setups. We want that to say gate 2 minus gate 1. There we go, gate 2 minus gate 1. And now let's try and set this up and calibrate echo to echo on this, what did we say we'd use, the 300 step? So I'm going to do it without any coating on it. And at the third major division here, 1, 2, 3, that's our first back reflection. So our sixth, that's going to be our second back reflection. So I want to bring this gate in to include that. Let's go back in and select our second gate, and I'm going to move the start to the left so that it'll now it's selecting that peak. So it's measuring the first peak here by that little red triangle and the second peak here by the blue, and I would like that to read 300, so I'm going to go back in and calibrate velocity, and I want that to read 300 up there. Let me go ahead and add a little bit more dB. And we're adjusting velocity, and we want that to read 300 deep. And there we have it. So our first back reflection is at the third major division. The second back reflection is at the sixth major division. Now, if we have some coating, I'm going to simulate some coating with this piece of plastic or, a credit card, what have you. Anything to simulate a coating. Now, my first back reflection is no longer at the third major division, it's out near the fourth. And I'm looking at my two gates. That's my first. This is my second. I want it to gate on that, but this other thing is a little bit louder, so I'm going to have to move that second gate over a little bit. There's start is chosen, moving it to the right. Now it's gating on the correct thing, and it's pretty accurate. It's some float there between that readings, but that's pretty close to 300. So we've gone echo to echo, gate 2 minus gate 1. We've gone echo to echo, and we're very close to the 300 that we want. And that's basically how multi-echo, echo to echo works. So to summarize that, set up on your thickness that's the closest to the thickness that you expect to find, and then set up two gates. They should both be on peak. You could do negative or positive, I think. Negative is generally more consistent. And then make sure that the gates are gating on the correct signals, and you should be good. And that's echo to echo. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.